Well, hello everyone. Welcome in. I'm Taffany and this is Tika's Gardens. And today I am going to kind of take a look at how the garden is doing. I've been gone for the last 7 days on a vacation for my birthday, and the things that I planted before I left, I just want to take a quick look at them and see how they're doing, because it was 37 degrees when I woke up this morning, and when I got in there were actually people who had things covered, so I'm guessing there was a frost warning. Of course, none of our stuff is covered, so I just want to take a look at the things I planted, and I want to check out the monarch caterpillars back here as well. My husband sent me a picture showing me that we had some monarch caterpillars there while I was gone, and I took a peek this morning and they weren't moving, so I want to make sure they're alive now that it's warmed up a little bit. So Tika and I are outside. We're gonna take a look at everything I planted, make sure it's doing good. And yeah, I'm really tired. Got in last night, didn't sleep well. Oh goodness. But first I want to start with the caterpillars to make sure they're okay, and then we'll look at the flowers. And maybe while we're looking, I'll tell you a little bit about my trip, and maybe even stick a few little clips in to show you what adventures I got into. So anyway, let's head back here where the caterpillars are. Here, I'll just take the walkway here. And let's see what they look like. If they're moving, if they froze from the temps. Let's see. Well, I definitely see movement, so maybe this morning when I came out they were sleeping. I don't know. Alright, let me turn the camera around and show you the caterpillars. Alright guys, I'm going to try to get a little close. Let's see if you can see that. It was on the underside of the leaf when I looked this morning, so it's on this upper side, so that lets me know it is moving. So it didn't freeze, thank goodness. And over here, oh, here, let's look at this branch. You can see they were definitely eating quite a bit while I was gone. And over here is the other one. So it's not moving too much, and it was on the other side underside when I saw it this morning. Let me get a stick and see if it's moving. I think it's moving. Miss Tika was so sad when I left her. She was very withdrawn, as she usually is, but this time she was a little worse than normal. But she's so happy to be out and about now, so there she is. But anyway, let's start back here in the bedroom garden. Let's take a look at the snapdragons and the white roses. My husband said he did water for me at least a couple of times, but he was, you know, concerned about really doing too much because of the cold temps. So they look very good. Very pretty. I think the yard could definitely use some mulch. The roses are still blooming back there and over on the other side. But I want to take a look at the dianthus, and they are looking fabulous. I love it. There's a little more shade over here, so let me see if I can get myself out of the shade so that I'm not in the way of you seeing. So those are the dianthus. Very pretty. And they're all standing up, blooming. So the garden as a whole is looking pretty good, considering. And, oh, let me show you this. I did pick some peppers this morning and some tomatoes. But the zinnias here, as you can see, they're pretty much done. over the days since I last recorded here in the garden. The angelonias are as well looking pretty rough, but still has some green and some blooms on them on both sides. But these zinnias over here, they're still popping up some color, but you can definitely see that, like the other, they're not as bad as the others. I keep forgetting where the sunlight is, so I need to make sure I'm out of the way so you guys can see good. But you can see we've got bumblebees and butterflies all over here. And that lantana still doing fantastic. And of course, we still have the pink salvia, and apparently while I was gone there must have been some fresh blooms on the impatient here, because before I left we didn't have any blooms there, so looks like they're kind of worn right now. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. And yeah, I would say everything is looking pretty good. I'm going to check the camellias on the side of the house. And guys, one of my favorite parts of the trip, we'll talk about that as we head out to look at the camellias, was visiting Roatan. I enjoyed that so much. Visited a few places. Roatan was what I would say is number one on the list of the places I enjoyed. It had so much rain when I started out on my adventure. It was like a monsoon, but the rains lifted and I was able to tour Gumbalimba Park. And, you know, it was just really interesting. There's an old fort there with old cannons, you know, remnants of the Spanish as they, you know, invaded and took over the island, and, you know, all of that. I got to visit a pirate's cave that held history of the people there, the original peoples, and you know, had a picture of an old a chief from the 1700s or 1816, I believe it was, and his wife. I'm gonna stick clips of everything as I'm telling you about it. I got to walk a bridge, one of those like wood string bridges, and that was the scariest thing I did. I cannot tell you how terrified I was because I'm afraid of heights, but I wanted to do it and I did it. And yeah, the bridge said the maximum capacity was 8 people at a time. The bridge started shaking, as you can see, and tilting to the side, and I just kind of froze and stopped, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're all gonna fall off. And I turn around and look, and why is it that my entire group is on the bridge at the same time instead of just the first few of us who went? So I went out on this excursion by myself. My sister didn't really want to go, so I went and, you know, made friends with the people who were on the tour with me, and we were all determined to make this tour in spite of the rain. So it was fun. We visited their insectarium. I am messing up all these words, I know. And like I said, well, before I continue, these camellias, I want to say, are looking good and smelling fabulous. You saw the one down there. I'll give you one more look because I was busy talking. But this one looks good too. And let's get a smell. You see it? I'm gonna smell. Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Love that smell. So everything that was planted is still alive and doing good. Now let me go find Miss Tika. But anyway, we visited the insectarium. I visited the old fort from 1703, I believe. And it still has the cannons and things there. It was really, really a neat trip. Very interesting. Very very fun. And one thing I want to say, as you look at me touring their park, this is a botanical garden and, animal sanctuary with monkeys, macaw, birds, which was interesting to learn that they live up to 85 years. They find their mate and stay together for life, and they're very vocal. And they were in multiple places that we visited around the islands, but they were in the park. I got to hang out with some of the monkeys and the take pictures with the macaws, some of them. And but most important was really just learning the history. There was a pirate's cave where they did a simulation of the island. There's one main road that goes from one end of the island to the other, and the island is like 36 miles long. There is I guess what I would say, as I have toured various botanical gardens, there is a plane above me, hang on. As I have visited various botanical gardens, in a few different countries, mostly South American countries here over the last year, I would say that our idea of a botanical garden is definitely not the same as what you would see there. The area is tropical. Roatan has a lot of jungle. So as you see me walking through their park here, you will see that it is a lot of just jungle with, they have quite a few birds of paradise, which I have some around my garden, but yeah, they have a lot of birds of paradise, but their jungle is more, their garden is more jungly because that is the region, not like your traditional Western garden that is much more formal, planned out, plotted out. You've got sections like a vegetable garden and your, like my vegetable garden, that I have here. We've got a nice beautiful patch of grass. We've got the bedroom garden, and then along the back we've got the courtyard garden. But this is jungle area, so in the European and Western sense of gardens, that those areas don't have those kinds of gardens. They are just very lush and green. So although it was a garden, it was technically really jungle that was I would say preserved by the government because the fort was there and things like that. So when you travel and you want to see gardens, don't just keep in your head that you're going to go look at some well-organized and formal garden, because that's not what you're going to get. When you travel to a lot of tropical places, you are going to get gardens that are lush, green. They're basically a part of the island, of the country where the government has separated off to preserve for whatever reason. And it's just not going to be the same. There are going to be some tropical plants that they add to it, but the area was so beautiful walking through there. It was muddy because of the rain, but I really loved the group that I was with. Everyone was determined to get out in spite of the rain, and we were very, blessed. The angels were shining down on us because the rain stopped and we were able to get out and actually start to walk and really enjoy the area. But I would highly recommend, if anyone gets a chance to go to visit Roatan, to definitely do so. And like I said, I visited some other places as well, and I will share more about those in another video. But for today, I'm just going to share the clips from Roatan in addition to checking out the garden here, what I planted before I left. So, guys, I am going to head back in the house and relax and try to get me a little rest because I'm pretty tired, as you could probably tell from the beginning of this video. Alright guys, well that is going to be it for today. I want to thank you for joining me here in the garden and walking around, just kind of checking on things after the frost and after me being gone for several days. My husband was also gone, so he wasn't really here to maintain the garden either. He was only able to water a couple times, which I told him not to do more than that because of the weather. But then there were obviously going to be several days that he did not get to do anything because he wasn't here. So to see everything looking so good in spite of the fact that no one was here to look after it and maintain it, I'm happy. And I also hope you enjoyed seeing some of the clips in Roatan and, you know, me kind of sharing some of those moments with you and allowing you to be there as well through me, because it was a lot of fun and I highly recommend it. So thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.